Bear down, fam. Get ready, because today we have a script loaded with adrenaline, pure analysis, and the passion only a Bears fan can feel. The news that has us all on the edge of our seats is a rumor that could change the course of our offense. Stefon Diggs to Chicago. Is it real? Is it the perfect fit for Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson? We're going to break down every detail of this potential bombshell that, if it happens, puts us in another league. But that's not all, bro. Our quarterback, Caleb Williams, the Iceman, is getting the recognition he deserves, and not from just anyone. A Packers rival has named him the best player in the NFL. Is this crazy, or the recognition Caleb deserves? We're going to analyze why this hype is real and what it means for our quarterback's future. And to top it off, the stadium saga. Yes, that story that has all of us with our hearts in our hands. The Bears board of directors has made a decision that could change the future of the franchise forever. Move forward with the project in Indiana. I'm going to give you my raw, unfiltered opinion on this decision that hurts us all. All this and more right now. Let's dive in. Okay, fam, I need you to stop everything you're doing and listen carefully, because what I'm about to tell you now is the kind of news that makes you daydream. Sports Illustrated has dropped a bombshell that, if it materializes, could be Ryan Poles' boldest and most transformative move this offseason. Stefon Diggs to the Chicago Bears. Let's put this into perspective. The Bears, under Ryan Poles' direction, have been building a roster with a clear vision, surround Caleb Williams with elite talent. We already have Rome Oduns, Luther Burden III, and a promising tight end core. But what if we add a proven veteran, a receiver who has been top 5 in the league for years, a guy who knows what it's like to play on the big stage? That, bro, changes the game completely. Manzano from Sports Illustrated didn't mince words. He said the Bears are a perfect fit for Diggs. And I, as a Bears fanatic and analyst of this team, couldn't agree more, with some caveats, of course. The argument for why Diggs is the perfect fit? First, experience. Diggs, who will turn 33 in November, is coming off a season with the New England Patriots where, despite all the drama, he proved he's still an elite receiver. 85 receptions, 1,013 yards, and 4 touchdowns, leading Drake May to a Super Bowl. That's no small feat. In a young locker room like ours, with Odunze and Burden in full development, having a guy like Diggs, who has been at the top, who has seen it all, is invaluable. Not just for what he does on the field, but for what he can teach. Second, versatility. Diggs isn't just a deep threat receiver. He's a master of separation, a precise route runner, a guy who can play outside in the slot and be a constant threat. His ability to win one-on-one is something Caleb Williams desperately needs. Imagine this: Odunze on one side, Burden on the other, and Diggs in the slot or moving all over the field. How do you cover that? Who do you double? It's a nightmare for any defensive coordinator. Third, immediate impact. We're not talking about a future project. Diggs arrives and produces from day one. With the contender window opening for the Bears, we can't afford to wait. We need players who will take us to the next level right now. And Diggs is that kind of player. His presence would elevate the level of the entire offense, forcing defenses to respect every corner of the field. Fourth, the narrative. After trading DJ Moore to the Bills, many wondered if Poles had weakened the receiver position. Bringing in Diggs would not only silence those doubts, but would send a clear message to the entire league. The Bears are serious. We are building a team to win, and we will stop at nothing to give Caleb the tools he needs. The caveats. Is there a dark side to this potential signing? No, let's be realistic. Not everything is rosy. Diggs has a history of drama off the field. His relationship with Cardi B, the problems with his former chef, are things that have generated noise. In a team that seeks stability and a winning culture, is Diggs the kind of personality we want to add? Ryan Poles has been very careful with the locker room culture. He would have to be convinced that Diggs fits. Then there's the issue of age and contract. 33 in November isn't old for a receiver, but it's not young. How much of his prime does he have left, and how much would he ask for in a contract? The Bears have $11.2 million in cap space, but Poles is a GM who thinks about long-term sustainability. An inflated contract for a player who might be in the decline of his career would be a risk. However, if Diggs can be acquired on a 1 or 2 year deal with incentives at a reasonable price, then the risk is minimal and the reward enormous. My direct opinion. Should the Bears go for Diggs? My answer is a resounding yes, but with conditions. If Ryan Poles can get Stefon Diggs at a reasonable price with a contract that doesn't mortgage the future of the franchise, then it's a move he must make. The opportunity to add a receiver of his caliber, with his experience and his game-changing ability, is something that doesn't come along every day. Imagine Caleb Williams with Odunze, Burden, Diggs, and a tight end core like Cole Kmet and Colston Loveland. That's an offensive arsenal that can compete with anyone in the league. Ben Johnson would have endless options to design plays, to exploit the weaknesses of defenses. This isn't a signing for the future. It's a signing to win now. It's a signing that tells Caleb Williams, We believe in you, and we're going to give you all the tools to be the best. And that, fam, is the kind of message a GM must send to his franchise quarterback. The edge rusher, the silent but crucial need. But we can't forget about the other piece Sports Illustrated mentioned, an edge rusher. After bolstering the secondary with Dylan Thieneman and Kobe Bryant, the biggest need on defense is a partner for Montez Sweat. Last season, our run defense was the 27th worst in the league, allowing 134.5 yards per game. That's unacceptable. A guy like Jadeveon Clowney, who had 8.5 sacks with the Cowboys, could be a solution. Clowney, at 33, is still an excellent run defender and can generate pressure. A solid edge rusher would not only improve our run defense, but also generate more pressure on the opposing quarterback, which in turn would help our secondary. It's a crucial piece for our defense to go from good to elite. So, Ryan Poles, if you're listening, the opportunity is there. Stefon Diggs and an edge rusher. It's time to pull the trigger and show that the Bears are ready to compete for the Super Bowl. Okay, bro, after that high with Diggs, let's talk about our quarterback, Caleb Williams, the Iceman. And the hype around him just keeps growing, and now it's coming from an unexpected and, for many, painful source. Micah Parsons, the star pass rusher for the Green Bay Packers, has named Caleb Williams the best player in the entire NFL. Listen closely, fam. This isn't a TV analyst. It's not a fan. It's an elite player, a division rival, a guy who knows what it's like to play at the highest level, saying that our quarterback, in his third year, is the number one in the league. That man is a level of respect that can't be bought. The context of the statement. Why does Parsons say it? Parsons made this statement in a teaser for the famous NFL Top 100, where the players themselves vote for the best. And when asked who was number one, he didn't hesitate. The Iceman from Chicago. Now, some will say it's crazy that Caleb, statistically, still has a lot to improve, and yes, that's true. But football isn't just statistics. It's impact. It's the ability to make plays in key moments. It's leadership. It's that spark that ignites a team. And Caleb, last season, showed he has all of that. Parsons had the opportunity to face Caleb once last season, and it was the only game out of the 3 that the Packers beat us. In the other 2, Parsons was injured with a torn ACL and had to watch the Iceman defeat his team from the sidelines. That experience, seeing Caleb from a distance, seeing how he handled pressure, how he made impossible plays, how he led his team to victory, is what likely led Parsons to make that statement. I can't lie. Watching that, seeing Caleb Williams, get that name, Iceman? And this right here, Parsons said on a Bleacher Report podcast. It was just grr. That's the reaction of a guy who respects talent, even if it's from a rival. It's the admiration of one competitor for another. Caleb's evolution. Beyond the statistics. Our head coach, Ben Johnson, said it last week. What we're all concerned about is winning ball games. If that means top 5 quarterbacks based on wins, then I'm all for it. But that's what we're concerned about. Every single week, going into the game, finding a way to win that ball game. I think he proved last year that if the game is close at the end, he's going to go all out and become Superman at times to make some critical plays. That's great. We continue to see his evolution as a quarterback. And that's the key, fam. Caleb has that Superman ability. That ability to elevate his game when it matters most. To turn a broken play into a touchdown. To lead game-winning drives in the fourth quarter. Those are the moments that define an elite quarterback. And Caleb had them in abundance last season. Furthermore, let's not forget that Caleb Williams is on the cover of Madden NFL 27. Yes, there were complaints. There were people who said he didn't deserve it. But the truth is, Caleb is becoming a bigger superstar than many outside the league give him credit for. His popularity, his charisma, his undeniable talent are taking him to the top. My perspective, is Caleb the best? Look, I'll be honest. To say Caleb Williams is the best player in the NFL in his third year is a bold statement. There are many incredible players in this league. But what I can say is that Caleb has the potential to be, and more importantly, he's already showing the impact of a top player. The fact that a rival like Micah Parsons recognizes him this way is a testament to his talent and impact. It's not just media hype, it's respect from his peers. And that, fam, is what really matters. This kind of recognition not only elevates Caleb's profile, but also elevates the Bears' profile. It puts us on the map. It tells us that we have a franchise quarterback, a guy who can lead this team to the promised land. And with the right reinforcements, with an offensive system that empowers him, Caleb Williams is ready to dominate the league. So, yes, Caleb Williams is the Iceman. And yes, he's on his way to being the best. And I don't care what the haters say, because the players in the league already know it. Bear down, okay, fam? After the excitement with Diggs and Caleb, we have to return to harsh reality. The news that has all of us with our hearts in our hands, the endless stadium saga, has reached a point of no return. The Chicago Bears Board of Directors has officially voted to move forward with a multi-billion-dollar stadium project in Hammond, Indiana. Yes, you heard that right. Indiana. I need you to take a deep breath because this is a tough blow. It's an institutional tragedy and there's no other way to say it. The decision. Why Indiana? After months, years of stalled negotiations in Illinois with the Springfield legislature, unable to reach an agreement on funding or tax certainty, the Bears have said enough. The joint statement from George H. McCaskey and Kevin Warren is clear. We believe a world-class stadium project in Hammond will transform the region, connecting northwest Indiana to the south side of Chicago through the Loop and across neighborhoods and suburbs stretching north of the city. This isn't a rumor, it's not speculation. It's a board of directors decision. And while the NFL still needs to give its final approval, this is a gigantic step. The Bears have pledged $2 billion in private funding for the construction. And Hammond, which is just over 20 miles from Soldier Field, becomes the potential new home of our franchise. Why Indiana? The answer is simple, bro. While Illinois was getting tangled in politics and endless discussions about who paid what, Indiana already had a plan. In February, the Indiana House of Representatives unanimously approved an amendment to Senate Bill 27, which establishes the framework for a Northwest Indiana Stadium Authority. This means they are willing to commit up to $1 billion in public funds to finance, build, and lease a stadium. $1 billion, man. While Illinois couldn't agree on tax certainty, Indiana rolled out the red carpet. Indiana Governor Mike Braun had already said it. The Bears deserve a place that runs like Indiana, AAA credit rating, where you get a lot more stadium built for the money you're going to invest, where you've got friendly guidelines to have a business. And Hammond Mayor Thomas McDermott Jr. has reiterated it. The Bears recognize their city as a successful city of opportunity and possibility, an excellent choice for such a significant investment. The blame? Who is responsible? Now, let's not kid ourselves. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson says the board's vote is not surprising and that the relocation is far from final, that the city will continue to discuss. But how many more times are we going to go through this? The Bears have explored Arlington Heights, the Chicago lakefront, and now Indiana. Patience has its limits, and it seems Ryan Poles and the McCaskey family reached theirs. The blame, fam, is not on the Bears. They presented reasonable plans, bought their own land, and asked for tax certainty that never came. The blame lies with a political class in Chicago that couldn't set aside its short-term electoral interests for the long-term well-being of the city. It's an institutional tragedy, and it's something that will hurt us for decades. Chicago is a city of neighborhoods, a very strong local identity, and the Bears have been part of that identity for decades. Moving them across the state line, even if geographically close, creates a psychological distance that will take years to process. Fans from the south side, the north side, from the historic neighborhoods that have been going to Soldier Field for generations, will feel that. And they will be right to feel it. My raw and unfiltered opinion. I'm going to be completely honest here, and you might not like what I'm about to say. I believe that if this legislative session ended without a binding and concrete agreement from Illinois, the Bears are going to Indiana. And I believe that decision was practically made before Sunday even started. I'm not saying it because I want it to happen. I'm saying it because the Bears have been methodically consistent for months. They say the decision is between Arlington Heights and Hammond, not Chicago, not Soldier Field. Arlington Heights or Hammond. And if Arlington Heights cannot guarantee the tax certainty the Bears need to secure private financing, Hammond already has it ready. There is no last-minute option C that will magically appear. Senator Cunningham said something that seems to me the most honest statement of this whole circus. Legislators want to protect taxpayers, and for their voters to be able to live with the decision, and whether or not that's what the Bears want is a secondary concern. That, translated into plain English, means the political good of the legislators comes first, the franchise comes second, and that hierarchy of priorities is exactly why Illinois is about to lose the Chicago Bears. Think about it from the perspective of the McCaskey family and Ryan Poles. They've been trying to build in Illinois for 5 years. They bought land for $300 million. They hired architects, consultants, urban planners. They presented proposals to multiple legislatures. And every time it seems like there's a way forward, Chicago politics blocks it. How many more times do you present a reasonable plan to a city that doesn't want to do business with you before you take the money and go where you are wanted? Indiana wants them. And don't say it out loud because it hurts, but sometimes in business, the one who treats you better wins. What this means for the fans. For Bears fans, I want to be clear about something. If the Bears move to Hammond, Indiana, they are not moving to Los Angeles. They are not moving to Las Vegas. Hammond is less than 30 minutes from the Loop under normal traffic conditions. Lake Michigan is still Lake Michigan. The Bears are still the Bears. The jersey is still navy and orange. George Halas's history doesn't change. The Super Bowl shuffle doesn't disappear. The 91 years of this team's history are not erased by a different zip code. But something profound does change. The emotional relationship of this city with its football team. And that, fam, is what hurts the most. Fam, today has been a day of strong emotions and momentous decisions. The possibility of Stephon Diggs in Chicago fills us with hope and makes us dream of an unstoppable offense. Caleb Williams' recognition as the best in the league by a rival is a testament to his talent and impact. But the news about the stadium in Indiana is a bitter pill, a wound that will take time to heal. This franchise has 91 years of history: Walter Payton, Butkus, Sayers, Urlacher, George Halas's legacy. That doesn't change with a zip code, but Chicago deserves to have the Bears in Chicago. And if the politicians of this city couldn't protect that, that's a failure they'll carry for decades. Bear down. Always. If this video gave you something, hit the like button, subscribe, and tell me in the comments below, how do you feel about DIGGS' potential arrival? Do you think Caleb Williams is the best in the NFL? And how do you feel about the stadium decision? I want to read every response. See you in the next one.